Hi guys, and welcome to this video on the full moon in Aries that happens on the 29th of September 2023. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. The chart you see next to me here, that's a snapshot of the sky at the moment this full moon happens. So I'm going to analyze this chart to see what the planets are doing, how they interact and what energy that creates. And the point of these horoscopes then is to try and get a sense of that energy so we can make the most of these wonderful astrological events and avoid some of the negatives that go alongside those positives, right? So this full moon in Aries, it happens at 10:57 in the morning, and that's based on Central European time. So if you're in a different time zone, take that into account, please. The full moon is when the sun and the moon oppose one another. They're 180 degrees away from each other. The moon is fully lit up. It's in the sign that it's in this case it's Aries, and it reaches this point of, I've made it. The cycle is complete. I can let go, I can celebrate, I can let go of all of this. And that's why during the full moon, we feel the influence of that sign so much. It's also, the moon is completely full and the light, and it's nearer to us than it usually would be. So it's a sense of, this is my feelings are a presence in my life that I can't just dismiss and ignore. And that's why the full moon can often be so unsettling, because regardless of what's happening in the external outside environment, it kind of puts a focus on, this is where I'm at and this is what I'm feeling, me as a human being right now, independent of everyone else. So it's interesting because this is a full moon in Aries. I always see the moon as your heart and the sun as your head. The moon is what you feel, it's what's most intimate and personal to you, and the sun is what you're striving towards becoming. It's this idealized notion of, this is what I want to be, this is what I'm striving towards, and these are the qualities I really resonate with and I identify with and I would like to embody. And in this case, it's all back to front, I feel, because we've got the moon in Aries, which is a fire sign, so your feelings are massively fired up. But then we've got your head, the sun, in Libra, which is an air sign, which is saying cool it. And I feel that these two are fundamentally conflicted. And if it was the moon in Libra and the sun in Aries, that would feel very different to me. That would be like, I am empowered, therefore I want to connect and I want to compromise and I want to make my social network bigger, right? In this case, I feel something very intensely and I almost feel cornered and desperate to kind of release these feelings. But then my sun is almost censoring me and saying, you can't express every feeling because it may be destructive to one of your relationships, so zip it. And that doesn't feel very liberating and celebratory to me. So it's an interesting full moon that, one, I feel may cause you to self-center and not self-center, self-censor, because you're constantly considering your place in the group or in the community or how your actions and feelings are going to impact others. But then at the same time, you really have these strong feelings that need to be expressed. So I think this full moon is very positive in a sense, but it requires a little bit more work. And the work particularly, I feel, needs to be done when it comes to, this is my focus, this is the decision I've made, this is what I'm sticking to. I'm not going to be distracted, and I'm not going to waste my energy on pointless discussions or by spending my time solving problems which really could resolve themselves on their own, you know? So it's kind of interesting to me. Let's have a look. So the moon is at 6 degrees in Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's a fire sign, so it's cardinal. It says, I'm the boss, I'm the leader, I don't need anyone else's permission, right? Not only don't I need permission, but I also don't want to have anything in my way delaying me or taking away the focus or making this more complicated than it needs to be. There's a door here, this door needs to come down so that I can progress. That's the end of it, right? So you're going to feel that on a very core level. These are your feelings, and it removes you from the greater whole, and it says, what is it that I need to look at for myself? The sun is at 6 degrees in Libra, and that says, do you know what, that may all be very well, But the truth is that there are lots of opportunities out there in the world, and most of those opportunities involve other people. So you're going to have to play nice and recognize that other people have valuable things to offer, and you can't just be Rumpelstiltskin stamping your feet here and having a tantrum. And when someone talks to me like that, Greg, behave yourself, you can't act like this, that's when it's over. No, really, because I suppose a more mature person would say, yes, I see your point. But for someone like me, then it feels like, oh my God, I'm being repressed here. I'm being told what to do. I can't take it. I need my freedom. I need to be able to, you know? So I think this allows you to really make a lot of progress in an area that you are interested in, whether that's your work or planning the future or solving some sort of a problem. There's an opportunity to make that happen. At the same time, there's potential friction with other people. And with the Sun in Libra, there's actually the opportunity to network and to make great new connections that will help you get what you want. But you see, it's like, that's all very well, thank you, but I wanted to do this on my own. So the whole thing is jarring. I don't think this is going to be the most comfortable full moon that you've ever experienced. I think it may be confusing, frustrating, and difficult to suss out what the distraction even is. And that's worse. It's like, I don't even know what the problem is, so I can't ram it down and get rid of it. The other thing that complicates this is that Neptune is near the moon in Aries. It's not quite conjunct because the moon is at 25 degrees in Pisces, and not the moon, Neptune is at 25 degrees in Pisces, and the moon is at 6 degrees in Aries. So they're 11 degrees away from each other. I use 10-degree orbs for a conjunction or any kind of aspect pattern. But I still think that this influences it. And Neptune is the water planet of dreams and intuition. But when it sits in a particular sector of the chart, it can also signify the fog and the thing that is unclear. And it's sitting here on the IC, your roots, what feels home, at 25 degrees in Pisces. And that makes it very difficult to suss out what even your focus is, or if you do have a plan or a goal or an area that you want to pursue, unless you are using your intuition and unless you have some sort of spiritual awareness, it's going to make it very fuzzy and difficult for you to discern what the plan even is. So just between these three, the moon, the sun, and Neptune, it's like I'm revving my wheels here, but I don't have the direction that I'm going to speed off to. Plus, I need to consider everyone else on the pavement and how they feel. And it's just like, what am I doing here? So the best time to have the best way to have a good time here during this full moon in Aries is to have one particular goal in mind, and I would say the 28th, 29th and 30th of September, so the end of the month here, do one thing and do it well. Be open to other people, but really have a sort of timer in place, as in, I'm not going to spend more than an hour on any of these days solving anyone else's problems. I'm going to focus on doing my work, and I'm also going to focus on not being distracted by other people's concerns and my own sense of doubt and fuzziness around what it is I'm doing. So the thing that makes most sense to you at this point in your life, focus on that and keep it as simple as you possibly can to avoid any frustration. The full moon then also forms relationships with other things in the chart. The first thing is it forms a semi-square, so it's 45 degrees away from Uranus at 22 degrees in Taurus. Uranus is the planet of the unexpected and the miraculous and the chaotic. In Taurus at 22 degrees, it opens the door for you to do something completely out of the box that would change your circumstances for the better. So it justifies this weird dichotomy because Uranus says, if you manage to keep the focus and you do the one thing, but you do it well, you're able to really move mountains here in your life. You're really able to let go of past things that no longer serve you. You're able to overcome your own inner obstacles. You're able to problem solve and to find resolution and to really create something solid. And you see, whenever we have these kind of extreme opportunities, the universe also gives us an extreme obstacle to go hand in hand, planet duality, right? So the big high is that you can fundamentally and truly change your life for the better on this day by operating differently, by making different decisions based on your feelings. But the extreme pitfall is that you could become totally confused and distracted by other people and could get into arguments or bickering just because you don't know what else to do. So it's not an easy time, but certainly the stakes are really high because the outcome can be incredibly helpful. Then we have the moon forming a sesqui square. It's 135 degrees away from Venus at 22 degrees in Leo. So all of these relationships the moon is forming now, these are the reasons why you're being so difficult. Venus at 22 degrees in Libra, not in Libra, in Leo, it says, do you know what, I'm a star. I'm a star. I don't know about you guys, but I don't find stars very easy to deal with. They have a lot of demands. But you can't argue with the fact that these demands often come from a greater sense of self, which has been created because something was done that was a huge success, a huge hit, that added a lot of value to other people's lives. And now there's a sense of, I deserve special treatment because I've delivered something special. Anyway, that's my definition of why the behavior can be over the top. But the thing is, and again, you can argue every point, but that aggrandized sense of self is necessary to be a star. I don't want like a big diva on stage who's like insecure and saying, oh, do you like me or not? You want someone who's confident, who believes in their own talent, and who says, here's the song, I'm singing it, and you get to applaud. I know it's great, and I'm just sharing it with you. So Venus in Leo at 22 degrees gives you that absolute certainty that you are the star of your life, and it's that certainty that's required to use the influence of Uranus and Taurus to move mountains, because it's that self-belief, that massive self-belief that gives you these huge muscles to pick mountains up and to shift them and to put them elsewhere. So great things can be done, but I'm rolling my eyes because it's all very high stakes and it's all very dramatic. And when things are that dramatic, if things don't go your way, you can really get frustrated and annoyed. So watch out for that. I mean, the likelihood of things going well is very high here. We've also got Jupiter, the lucky planet, sitting next to Uranus. So these things that you're building and these solid structures that you're trying to implement, they are supported. And that's why your ego is so big and why it needs to be big, so you can build big things. Just bless the people around you who may disagree with you. Wow, okay. So be nice while you're building your empire. We also have the moon forming, let's see, what else? Okay, so it opposes the sun, I've mentioned that. Then it quincunxes, it's 150 degrees away from Ceres at 5 degrees in Scorpio. Ceres represents abundance and plenty and summertime and food and abundance. At 5 degrees in Scorpio, it's emotional freedom to do what it is you need to do. Scorpio gets to the root cause of something. It dives down into this pool beyond all the darkness, and it gets to the point of life at the very bottom of the ocean, and it picks it up and it brings it back to the surface so that it can be transformed or healed or worked with. So the moon in Aries says, I'm the star, I need to defend my own cause here and make it happen for myself. And then Ceres in Scorpio is again very similar to Venus and Leo in a sense, because it's like, you feel it, therefore it is true. Your feelings are the most important thing in the world. I'm laughing because if someone upsets me, if someone steals my lunch at school or at university, and I tell my friend about it, they say, do you know what, you're upset and your feelings are the most important thing in the world. That just means I'm going to get even more upset. I'm not going to get over it. If someone says, listen, it's a lunch, you know, it's unfortunate it happened, but you will have other lunches, then I can get over it. So the point I'm trying to make is that you have a tendency to hold on to things here for dear life. Your own feelings are so important, and you know, heaven help anyone who crosses you or makes you feel bad because you're like a dog with the bone here, which again is essential sometimes to make great things happen, but as far as your relationships are concerned, it's not that great. Let's see what else. Then we have the moon forming a trine. It's 120 degrees away from the rising in Sagittarius at 1 degree. The rising sign is the ascendant, and it's really what comes most naturally, what is naturally present. Sagittarius is about adventure, setting goals. 1 degree is the same as a cardinal mode in astrology, and 1 is about pioneering, leadership, being the star. So that kind of gives you more evidence that if I want to make something happen in my life and if I want to have an amazing future, I'm going to have to knock everyone out of my way, elbow them out of my way, and I'm going to have to do it all by myself. The adventure includes me and no one else. And you see, that flies in the face of the sun and the moon opposition, because a lot of these opportunities are going to come via other people. So I would limit the exposure to other people. I would set one goal in particular that I can make happen solo to have the most productive time here. We also have some major aspect patterns at the center of the chart. If you tilt your head a bit, you can see the big blue triangle at the center, right? And this blue triangle is called a grand trine. That's an area of talent. And it connects the planet Mercury, the communication planet in Virgo, a sign that it rules. It's like a meaning-making machine up there, with Pluto in Capricorn, and then also Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus. So it's a grand trine in Earth. The big talent, as such, is your ability to shift the Earth, to make changes in your practical circumstances. That's your job, your physical health, your income, your living situation, how you live, the environment. You can change all of that around. Mercury in Virgo allows you to see the real truth of what is happening. Pluto in Capricorn allows you to make changes to that. And Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus, you aren't just able to make changes, you're able to take charge and control of the situation to build something fabulous, to replace something that wasn't there before. No, you can't replace something that wasn't there before. To build something that wasn't there before. So you see, you may have diva-like tendencies, but they're justified because you're building something exceptional. What was it? I read, sorry to name drop, but Mariah Carey said, yeah, of course I'm high maintenance. Why shouldn't I be a high maintenance at this point? And I thought, I mean, not that it matters what I think, but I was like, right on. If you can't be high maintenance, then who can? And if I were you, I'd be high maintenance. I'd want the air controlled. Like, you know, at Celine Dion's house, apparently there's like a system that regulates the humidity and things because it creates the perfect climate for the vocal cords or something. Which may seem extra, but it's totally justified. I'd be very, I'd be way over the top if I felt like I had done something way over the top, I guess. I don't know. So I think that if you find yourself being a bit of a star, then have compassion with the star and say, stars create shining, wonderful things, and I'm going to use this part of my personality to create something sparkly and wonderful and build it. So sorry, family and friends, that I'm being a total nightmare, but I'm doing something important, okay? So just live with it, okay? deal with it. Which obviously you can hear is very considerate and compassionate. Not. Okay, let's see what else. Anything else? Ooh. It's kind of a kite on one side, but it's squished. Yeah, it is a kite. So the trine between Uranus and Jupiter and Pluto in Capricorn, that then peaks because it has two sextiles sitting on top of it, which peak with Neptune, right? So one sextile between Uranus and Jupiter connects Neptune and Pisces, and then Pluto in Capricorn sextiles Neptune and Pisces. So they create a kite. So it's not just a grand trine, a big talent, it's a kite. It's a talent that's so big that it kind of has its own life and its own rhythm, and it's just kind of existing through you. You're just a conduit. And it takes earth and water, so the grand trine in earth, and now it puts Neptune at the very top. And your ability to move mountains here, to build a fabulous new life, depends on your dreams, your inner vision, and your self-belief that that is possible and that you can make it happen. So of course you have to be a star. Because great tasks require great self-belief, or great self-belief certainly doesn't harm the process. So I love it. I'm just thinking, I think I'm gonna ring up the most annoying person I know and spend time with them and just behave horribly and demand attention and free lunches. I'm kidding. No. I'm gonna focus on what is it that I want to do next, that I've been reluctant to do. Like for instance, this is what I'm going to do. Like I moved recently, and that was, moving, you have to unpack boxes and blah, blah, blah. It takes a lot of time. And I'm going to do a tarot course that I'm going to teach live over Zoom probably. And I was thinking of doing that after the move. But now I'm just like, I'm still settling in. I want to do it before Christmas, but maybe I can do it in a few days or next week or something. And I've been putting it off because it's unfamiliar. I haven't taught the tarot live before. So this is the kind of energy here during the full moon that says, hey, Greg, of course you can teach the tarot. Do it. Make the flyer and put it on the website and then tell people about it. Of course you can do it. You see? So that's how I'm going to use this. That's what I'm going to make happen. So it's kind of a wonderful way to overcome your own kind of reluctance or whatever holds you back. Anything else? Let's see. We got the kite. There's no mystic rectangle. It's too squished. We do have a grand cross. Wow. Okay, that's really important. I can't believe I almost missed that. A grand cross is 4 squares. Each square is friction. And a grand cross is 4 squares, which create a big red square, which is major friction. It's called a grand cross. Connects Black Moon Lilith in Leo next to Venus. The rising in Sag, Aries. Saturn in Pisces. And the descendant in Gemini. So what you're unresolved around and where you can kind of go, oh, this and that, and all at the same time. Black Moon Lilith, the guilt around, I'm behaving like a star here, I should tone it down a notch, I'm being too much. Versus the rising in Sag, but it's my journey, I have to make this happen. This almost desperate sense of I need to show up for myself. With Saturn in Pisces, which is really unhelpful in this sense because it says, do you know what, it doesn't really matter how you behave, just accept it. Okay. And then the descendant in Gemini, speak up. You're as much of a star as anybody else. So do you see why you may go round and round with that? Because it's like, really? I've got to the age of 42 and I have learned that I can't just say whatever I want. And now on this day, I'm being told that it's essential that I do say whatever I want. Maybe I should self-censor. And then you go round and round and round. So don't censor yourself on the one thing that you pick to do that's really important to you. Go all the way with that. The potential outcomes are infinite. Limitless. Miraculous. Seriously. Anything else? We almost have a yod, but not quite. So I'm going to count it anyway because I'm generous. So you see the quincunx between Mars and Uranus and Jupiter. Then Uranus and Jupiter sextile Neptune, and then Neptune quincunxes the south node in Libra. It's not quite a yod because the two quincunxes don't meet, but it's almost. And this is a particular quality. And it's your ability to dream and connect with the higher realms allows you to build something wonderful. But your ability to be distracted by other people, their demands, their ideas is also huge. So please be careful that that doesn't happen. So if you're not on your own agenda at least 51% of the time here at the end of the month, 28th, 29th, 30th of September, you're missing out. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I get here during this full moon. I hope you have a wonderful time. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, scroll down a little bit until you get to the button that says book your reading. Click on that to audio reading with me. In my personal readings, I use astrology, the tarot, numerology, and my intuition. I combine all four things to answer any questions you may have. So if you're questioning your strengths, your weaknesses, your own identity, how to understand yourself better, the chart is priceless. It's like a blueprint of who you are. If you're questioning income, ideal aptitudes when it comes to work, relationships, travel, education, friendships, spiritual development, anything at all, please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. Check out some of my other videos. I do a weekly horoscope as well, where I go through each day. I do a daily tarot reading that's available to members of this channel, and thank you to all the members on this channel. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up please, hit subscribe, share it online so that other people get to see it. That would really help the channel. I hope this has given you something to go on, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best, take care.